So what's really starting to happen is the impact that high interest rates are really serving up a dish of, I have to use all my money. I can't afford things anymore. Believe it or not, inflation per se is starting to be less and less of a problem. So it's really important that people always see what's coming at them versus where they were. And what's coming at them right now that's really affecting their saving ability is interest rate escalation. So the interest rate on a mortgage, the interest rate on a car, the interest rate on their credit card debt, the interest rate on everything, home equity lines of credit. So they may have started out doing all right. Even maybe they had a little savings, and now they're finding themselves in a situation, Beth, where if they did have a home equity line of credit at 3 or 4%, it's now at 9 or 10%. If they do have to buy a new car, even if it's a used car, it's not the inflated price anymore of the car, because car prices are starting to come down. It's the interest rate they're going to have to pay even on a less expensive car, which makes it totally unaffordable. But yet it's a necessity because they need a car. So what's really starting to happen is the impact that high interest rates are really serving up a dish of, I have to use all my money. I can't afford things anymore. So that, truthfully, today is the problem, even more so than inflation. The sad part about all this is that the people don't see what's about to hit them. In my opinion, we have like a financial tornado or a hurricane coming their way, but they don't even see it. We see it forming. And what I mean by that is, when people look at their money, they also look at the available credit that they have on credit cards. So it goes, oh, I have money in my savings account, which many of them did because of what happened during the pandemic and all the stimulus checks and extra money that they got. Then as they spent that down, now what happens is they look at their credit cards and they start spending on credit cards. Then what happens is, rather than spending and every month paying off that balance in full, they pay the minimum payment due. Then what starts to happen is they've used up all their credit limit, and now they really can't even pay their credit cards. Then what happens is they are in trouble. So people tend to look at their credit cards as part of their emergency savings plan. They look at the equity in their home, part of their emergency savings plan. What they don't realize is that is not an emergency savings account. That's equity in your home. The credit card debt is way too expensive to use. So people don't understand the true need for an emergency savings account. And I'm not talking about the 8 to 12 months you need in case you lose your job. I'm talking about people who are working today. They have a paycheck coming in, but they've maxed out on credit cards. They don't have a home, or they even, they did a home equity line of credit already for something, and now the interest rate is too high, and now their car breaks down. So now what do? Where do they get that money? Oh, now they go to the retirement accounts and take out a 401k plan, money from their 401k plan. So we're talking about emergency savings accounts that are a serious necessity for what's really coming towards people, and they're not prepared for it, in our opinion, whatsoever.
As you explained, Suze, a lot of people turning to their credit cards, consumer debt and delinquencies are just on the rise. Do you have any tips that you can share to help people kind of pay off compounding debts like that without having to tap into their emergency savings?
What they need to do is they need to have maybe one credit card if they have a credit limit on it still, and that should be their credit card. The other credit cards they have, they should cut up. They should not close them, because if they close them, it will hurt their credit score. So just cut them up and get rid of them. Then you should line up all of your debt from the highest interest rate to the lowest. You should add up the minimum payment due on each one of those credit cards. And then you should add another 20% to that. And that's the money that should go towards the highest interest payment card. On all the other cards, you should freeze the minimum payment due. So if you're paying $30 a month right now on a credit card, if the next month comes in and they only want $28, no, you continue to pay the minimum payment due on all of those credit cards when you did this exercise, plus the 20% for the highest interest rate. Then when that one's paid off, you take that amount of money and roll it down to the next one and the next one. And that's the best way to get yourself out of credit card debt, along with stop spending money on your credit cards. Stop it, everybody.